All right. It is Sunday night. It is Sunday morning in parts of the US, and I have here with me Jimuphy, me, and then I have Reviler. It's 8 a.m. almost. It's 10 minutes to 8 a.m. in the US, the part of the US that he's in. Hello, everyone. Thank you for doing this special event. Not that it's that special. It's just that I can't do it on Wednesday because I'll be driving. So let's do it today. Why not? Someone speak.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So, well, it's your show, so you direct it. But before the debate, well, thank you both of you for your time and Dia for doing this. I apologize for my last public viewing having been a carnival of veritable debauchery and half stupidity. But yeah.
Cool.
I don't think you need to apologize for it. Like, I spoke to several different people about it, like randoms that I didn't know, and they loved it. They thought your part of the documentary was the most entertaining. It's just that in the moment you were so exhausting.
Well, yes, well, okay. So for some clarification, and forgive me for like stutterances and momentary lapses in linguistic acuity, because I'm resetting my sleep and I have been up all night. But anyway, thanks for the interruption. So what happened was I was allegedly under the influence of some kind of liquid courage that I no longer have a need to partake in or imbibe. So because of that, I got some dates wrong. It wasn't just the going on for 2 minutes at a time that was rude to me. It was I want to say that it was 1805 at the Battle of Austerlitz. Was it Austerlitz that they lost? I want to say that's what it was. The Battle of Austerlitz. That's when Austria was defeated. So that's when Austria officially left the Holy Roman Empire. It wasn't 14 something. I want to say that
he's been obsessing about this, guys, for the longest time. He got so mad at himself for getting one date wrong, and the fact that he's bringing it up again is
and it was the 2nd Infantry, not what did I say? 17 something stupid. It was the second. It was June 1919. Adolf Hitler, Uncle A, was moved to the demobilization office of the 2nd Infantry Regiment. However, I was correct in that 1916 he was awarded the 1st class Iron Cross, followed by the 2nd class, and he was gassed in Brussels, south of the Ypres in 1918, which is when they lost the war, World War I, essentially, and then we had the Weimar Republic. So that's all I wanted to stipulate. My views have not changed really since then, except I've just gotten more fervent with the nihilism, ironically, because nihilism is kind of like an absence of value or caring about much on a cosmic level. But I will say that a lot of I have to be careful how I word this. I don't want her flagged. A lot of the demographics, let's say, of certain individuals, I still feel that way because facts still appear to be facts. But I don't think it's really worth one's life doting over it all the time. Not that I did it before, but, new car, new girl, new work, new everything. So once you ameliorate yourself in real life, a lot of these political matters that you're ultimately powerless in become really more minimal. But anyway, what would both of you say about your parts in the interview? Thank you for letting me speak my piece, by the way.
Oh, I don't care too much about the documentary. It's done. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad you're all willing to be a part of it. But just on what you said, I find that you are right. Once the outside world becomes more important to you than the online world when you have more to do. When you're not working, like I wasn't working a whole lot when I was living down in Wagga Wagga. All I had was Telegram. All I had was the internet, and you do get too consumed by it. It's not healthy. I'm glad you're working. I'm glad you have a car. I'm glad you're doing. All of that does make you, and having friends and spending time with them. The online world becomes far less important, and the issue I have with people on Telegram at the moment and online people is exactly that. I think they don't have anything else. That's really sad. It's really quite pathetic, and I hope they're okay.
A lot of them don't. Jimuphy, what was your overall feedback regarding the documentary Race and Perspective today? Yeah.
Actually, mine was the same as the other guy, Dave.
He's cool.
What we found quite interesting was the fact that our views didn't matter because we didn't fit the narrative. There was a fake narrative about black people. Myself and Dave, apparently, you know, the fact that, yes, we have created, yeah, sure. The fact that we have, you know, we have very creative lives. We're involved in the arts, where we're articulate. Apparently, that kind of exempted us, or sort of, it didn't. Our view didn't count. We weren't typical of black people, apparently, which I found to be quite preposterous. I mean, look, here's the thing. Here's the thing. All of us here, the perceptions that we have of one another and of the world around us is dependent upon the inputs that we're provided with and who's providing us with those inputs. And right at this moment in time, without me going into it, you know, there's a certain group of people that need to have human beings killing each other. And the way they do that is by breaking us into smaller and smaller and smaller groups, so that from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep, you have a reason to fight with someone, to fight with another human. Forgetting, of course, that our enemies, okay, I don't even believe our enemies are human, but they're our enemies nonetheless. And they want to make sure, Rev, let me speak to you and everyone else, okay? Do you think our enemies give a flipping damn about whether we're black or white? When the dude comes knocking on your door, Rev, to come and inject you or flipping give you an anal swab, he's going to be a white guy. He doesn't give a damn. When a guy comes knocking on my door, it could be two black guys who want to come and give me an anal swab or give me the flipping jab. Do you think they give a damn about what color? They don't give a damn. Our enemy wants to get rid of humanity per se. So it doesn't give a damn, black, white, Jew, whatever. You got Jewish people at the moment in Israel being killed by Jewish administrators. Think about that.
Yes.
So this conversation that we're having really should be about, what do we do about that which is trying to kill humanity right now? That's why I get up in the morning for. I'm not interested in anything else about black or white, whatever else. I couldn't give a damn about that. But what I do give a damn is, who or what is it that wants to get rid of this white guy, this white girl, and this black guy? That's what I'm interested in. And we should be getting together as the human race against the enemies of humanity. All this talk about racism, to me, is just exactly where they want us to be. Rearranging flipping deck chairs on the damn Titanic when it's sinking. That's my feeling. I'll have another drink.
That was quite emphatic and well put. Also, please be careful. I hear a minute echo. Sorry, I maybe that's just. I don't know. Perhaps it's minuscule. But anyway, in response to what he said, I understand that Jimuphy is not a very racial individual to begin with, and he does have a good point. I mean, I suppose they are elitist, billionaire, trillionaire pieces of garbage that have no care for anything or anyone on Earth. It's debatable even themselves, really, because what they're doing is so self-destructive. It's debatable even their own progeny.
Right.
So I
Do you understand? Do you see what I'm saying here? And that's what I'm trying. I think that's what I'm trying to get through at the moment.
Apparently we're muted. Hang on. How can we be muted?
You're back. You're back. Right when he spoke, it muted. It's back. Check the private chat. You're okay. I'm sorry. Repeat that, Jimuphy. Sorry.
Okay, so basically what it is was, I made the point that when Obama was the president, he did more to destroy black people in America than any other white president before him. And the reason for that was because he was the sick joke. He really was. When I saw black people crying their eyes out because you're saying, yes, we can, this was a flipping demon trying to trick humanity once again. That fake narrative. And honestly, it's a bit like Trump, with the Christians, basically. They literally thought that guy was in there, basically, this white right-wing Christian hope. Are you kidding me? He's orchestrated the soldiers to go around and jab your Yankee asses.
Did you know his last year in office, it's ironic that he got the Nobel Peace Prize because he dropped 27,000 explosives on the Middle East, primarily via drone strikes. That even came from Politico, which is relatively left-leaning. But yes, I mean, Obama, Trump, Biden, whatever, these are all puppets, as you know, just as your prime ministers and so forth. I mean, look, some call them the bourgeoisie, some call them the Zionists, some call them the technocrats. They're really all the same superlatively powerful, rich trash in the end. So I think what you said has a lot of credence to it. In the end, they probably don't care if you're orange or black or white or this or that. However, there are, without a debate that could get us flagged, there are certain in-group preferences that some of or many of these elitists have, and especially when you look at media, when you look at names like Murray Rothstein with Viacom, Jeff Zuckerberg, all these pieces of garbage, there just seems to be a very odd pattern. And then you look at this third world immigration, which not all, but a lot of the third world immigration, especially of the darker variety, a lot of this demographic are trash, a lot of 60-something IQs, a lot of rapes, a lot of horrible mistreatment of women, queer people, etc. So, and even in some cases, Christians. So anyway, but I get what you're saying. I think you're just looking at the overall holistic picture, whereas I see that, but, now I'd actually be more inclined to agree with you because I kind of care less about the whole matter, which is we'll segue into nihilism for. But I look at more of the group patterns, I guess, on the smaller echelons, yet still significant. But I get what you're saying.
But listen, and actually, you know what, Rev? Funny enough, I also agree with you too. But where I'm coming from is more the fact that, you know what? Let's look at the black race, for example. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The surprising thing is, and you know what? I can't remember the name of the town or the district, but up until the 30s, there was a predominantly black-run town or county, whatever, in the US.
It was called Greenwood, Black Wall Street.
Greenwood. Thank you so much.
Yep.
You the man. Okay,
right. The man.
Right.
Gendering me.
The education level, housing, businesses, you name it, healthcare, it was all there. Now, what happened? Well, what happened was the plan that we now see in its current incarnation, which is literally now to wipe out every community and every race, was actually set in what I would call an advanced state. They thought, you know what, we're going to start with the black people first. We're going to bring in drugs. We're going to bring in prostitution. We're going to inject their asses with syphilis as well. They injected pregnant black women with syphilis. Right, so they got the ball rolling to start. First of all, what was a crude ethnic cleansing. Mm-hmm. Now, when drugs basically had got to the point where 100%, we now can create a narrative that black people are smoking crack or doing whatever else. All we have to do now is we can proliferate that to the whole damn world.
Okay, so I feel like this is where I can finally step in.
Yeah.
I don't disagree that people have stepped in and made and done that to you guys, but then you've perpetuated it, and on average, you guys do commit more crimes and all that kind of stuff. Is that not accurate now, currently, even though others implemented it from the source?
Well, I think again, you need to step away from the picture in order to get the full picture, to understand exactly what's going on. Look, because at the end of the day, it's like this. You want to destroy humanity. So let's all agree that that's what our enemy wants to do. Yeah. And our enemy decided, oh, well, fair enough. We're going to start with the black community first. Mm-hmm. This is really, who gives a damn where we are with it? Who gives a damn? They've used the Chinese people, 1.7 billion automatons, to pretty much destroy to destroy manufacturing. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. They've used the Indian community basically to destroy, businesses that were pretty much services. In other words, now basically you will offshore the service end of your business to India. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, let me say one thing. Now, we're in 2021. The poor Indians, the next phase of the genocidal plan is hit them. Now they're being used basically as the excuse for the third wave. So what I'm trying to say is these entities, they've basically put in a master plan that we can decide that we're going to rearrange deck chairs on the sinking Titanic, and we're going to start saying, oh, well, you black people, you're stealing your jobs, or you Indian people, you're stealing our jobs, or you Chinese people. What the hell does it matter? Right now, we are all being genocided right now.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
So this conversation, listen, Rev, Dia, and everyone else who's listening, don't waste your talents trying to flipping arrange deck chairs. Go looking for the life raft. Go look. I'm being serious, brother.
I know. I'm sorry. I just found your analogy amusing, but the message is dead serious. I'm sorry, because I have a family member that really had a penchant for rearranging deck chairs, so I literally picture them while you're delivering this very serious message. I'm not laughing at you, though. Yes, I know.
So bottom line is, I'm not going to disagree with you. Look. Here's the thing. You're looking at a man, basically, like I'm thinking to two white people, not a problem. You'd never know.
I'm not white.
You'd never know. You would never know that this guy, 20 years ago, I was attacked in the middle, broad daylight in the streets of London, 5 white guys. They literally attempted murder. It made the press.
Wow.
It made the press. They tried to stab me, do whatever else, okay? All right? So fast forward to here. What's different? Why am I not going around looking to kill every white person?
Because you're considered a white supremacist now.
Because I'm considered a white. That's actually
that's true.
It is actually true. But no. The reason is, you know what the reason is, Rev?
Yes.
Knowledge and experience.
And Christ.
Or perhaps. I mean, it could be all of that, I'm sure. I mean, you know yourself better than I do, so I'm sure it's that. But it could also simply be perhaps your mind does not work in that racial way. Like I noticed with, we talked about the problems with a lot of the people in the far right earlier, but with the far left, notice the far leftist individuals, whether a lot of people call them Antifa a-holes and so forth. And I definitely understand giving them that label for, them throwing rocks at even black Trump supporters or Candace Owens and people like that, let alone the white ones. But, their minds inherently work more economically if you actually talk to some of them in real life or online that are not just complete like SJW crybaby meltdown idiots. And whereas with like a lot of the National Socialists, white nationalists, their minds just seem to inherently work more racially. But I mean, there's that too. You could have went the other way. You could have even joined like the Black Panthers of the UK, Australia. Yeah. So it's just not, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I will say though that, I don't know you that well, but we have talked personally through Dia, and what I know about you, even personally, you're definitely one of the individuals that I would say is a stand-up person especially for your demographic, not trying to be insulting, and that I wish those white guys would have chosen someone else to do that too. And honestly, doing that, they were probably like white trash anyway, so who knows. But anyway,
well, I mean, all right. to be honest, I look back on that whole situation now, and my take on it is, look, their perception of the world around them was given to them by a politician who actually didn't care about them, but was just looking for political gain.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why it's so dangerous. You see, look, here's the thing. I remember watching a BBC documentary, guys. It was about Nigeria. Now, on the state line, on the line that divides north and south, you had serious battle, killings, murder between Muslim and Christians. But for some reason, there was one town on this border where there was relative harmony. So this BBC correspondent, he thought he'd go over and interview the, I believe it was a Catholic priest and an imam. And he says to the priest, he says,
you said this in the topic.
Yeah, I did. But and he says to the priest, so wait a second, what's so different about you guys? Why are you not fighting the Christians? And the imam basically said, it's because we have Muslim politicians that will kill Muslim people, blame it on Christians just for political gain. And then he says to the he says to the imam, what's the deal there? Why are you not killing Christians? Is it because and it's the same answer. And you know what? The impression that left for me and everybody else was this: these people, whether it will be white supremacists, whether it will be Black Panther, Obama, or whatever else, they create the narrative, they create the tension, the confusion. Purely, I wouldn't even say for political gain. This is for another agenda. And the agenda always was, if we can keep humans on a micro level fighting against each other, having a reason for why they are different from their counterpart, then we're going to win this war against them. We will win. Because just to finish off, you made reference to a number of political groups and stuff like this. What were they doing on lockdown?
Well, I think the vast majority were complying like good little sheep. Like a lot of us kind of had to do initially, but some of us said screw it anyway. Especially her with not wearing the mask, but she's cute, so she can get away with that, and she's female. But I don't know unless unless they were into blokes, I don't think we'd get away with that.
I don't get to hug you, Rev.
No. It's all for show. She hates me. She doesn't like black guys at all.
They're going to call her both a white supremacist and say she's going to have caramel mamzer children now. So congratulations on him. Anyway, have you told him what a mamzer? Oh yeah, we can't say that on here. That's okay. No, but I get what he does have big arms, but I also find it ironic. I'm sorry, I'm like cackling in my mind that right now you both are allegedly drinking and I'm not, but just because of the history, like it's quite amusing, isn't it? No, that's fine, but I mean, wine is. Oh yeah, we have that here. In fact, I remember with my ex, we used to buy that when we both like ran out of money and stuff. Yeah.
So can I just say, Rev, how's the girlfriend, by the way? My God, you did well there, mate.
I'll tell you more about that off camera, but thank you.
Yes. Uncharted territory, everyone.
Yes. Oh, okay. So, not to direct, but I am definitely finding this intriguing. And Fred Stockman, neoliberals are garbage. That's a great comment. Now, I would like to get to the crux of what. Oh, before we do that, let me just say this because we have people in the far right circles, in our circles, that might want to. I want to say that another participant. So we covered your friend David. He was actually a rather eloquent speaker, like you, Jimuphy. We had Dia, of course. We had me as an absolute train wreck that got critical dates wrong and couldn't shut up after the second half. Thank you.
God, you were just exhausting, but you were funny. Stop punishing yourself for it. Relax.
It was the reaction. I mean, pulling out firearms and so forth. It was, I don't know. It was like a borderline Fed post. But
he pointed to the camera and said that your people deserve death.
I mean, I don't regret that. I mean, look.
No.
She's not black.
No. Let's.
No.
I've had friends of. I have and may still have friends of different varieties, on an individual level. I always have. Even very prominent actual white nationalists like Richard Spencer and people like this, especially from back in the day, have admitted to having friendships or whatever. The key for the white nationalists, which I'm not one, by the way, is the race mixing, Jimuphy. So essentially, even when Dia was interviewing Gypsy, who I just want to say something about really quickly, Gypsy Crusader, who unfortunately is incarcerated right now, which we don't know when he's getting at. Yeah, he did something stupid and had a lower receiver when, as a felon, and not a good move. But anyway, he even said something along the lines of like, he understands if men are horny and things happen with a girl of another race, but the line for these guys in general, which I understand, is like having kids, because once you do that, which technically, well, no, I don't want to talk about your personal life, I'm sorry, but anyway, you get the idea. So let me just say this about Gypsy. Paul Miller, we miss you. You definitely, very bright guy in some ways, very dumb in some ways with common sense there, brother. But we miss you, and you're a great source of entertainment, and we really all hope you're doing well. Paul Miller was the star of that interview. I don't agree with everything.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
He inspired that whole documentary. Yes,
I don't agree with everything the guy says, but I don't agree with all of it, but I agree with a lot of it. But even if I agreed with none of it, his star power was unmatched. And it's just sad that, much like Icarus, that old Greek fable, he flew too close to the sun. So hopefully he gets out. But Duvid was the last one. Duvid is a very odd fellow.
Duvid was exhausting as well.
Yeah, something that even the white nationalists said was that at least he was very honest and forthright as an identitarian Jew. So as far as aiming things at him, that was a bit uncouth. But I don't even hate Duvid on a personal level. He's just kind of a weird guy. I could see him just like playing chess all day on an 80s computer. But what his demographic represents, I'm still not a big fan of. But anyway, that's my entire take on it. And I mixed the sound, by the way, and mastered it, but no one cares.
Yes, everyone, he did. I credited you for that. Relax. Should we redirect this conversation from race to what we were going to talk about?
Yes, let's do it now. Yeah, we covered that.
Okay, so theology.
/ morality. Sorry, / morality. I want both of you against me now. Okay. I want you both to be as acrimonious towards me.
You state it. State the topic. You state the topic because you're better at that, and then I jump off from there. Okay, go ahead.
Gracias, Bella. So the topic is essentially, we have two moral absolutist / theist Christian people here, and we have one, as she loves to say, even to her own family, racist nihilist. No, kidding.
I think introduce him as the racist to my family members when we talk on the phone. I'm like, I'm on the phone to the racist. He gets so offended.
I don't deny it.
It's me, isn't it?
I don't deny it though, But no, I mean, I it's funny how the nihilism has even eclipsed the racism. But anyway,
my mom likes it because his Spanish is so good.
Leer, not no hablar. Anyway, so what is that? Wait, was cuando era niño en católica escuela escuchar escribir y leer por 9 años. Español por 4. Anyway, I suck at it. I can read it well.
Spanish. I gotcha. Go.
The Brazilians' language is more unusual. It's very theatrical Portuguese. Like, I love what they wear on the beach.
Topic. Go.
Oh yeah, right. I'm sorry, pontificating.
I will do that to you a lot. If you go off topic, I'm going to do that.
Right. So basically, it's basically theism versus atheism, along with moral absolutism, which tends to coincide with theism, versus nihilism. That's the topic essentially.
Okay, so state your position.
Suddenly your audio got lower, but I think that's my fault, so don't panic.
It's not me.
Sorry. I normally wouldn't inject that into the shows, but you don't want to have someone like deaf for half of someone speaking. My position is that, it's not so much my position, but I suppose it is by default, that at one point I was a theist, I was a Christian, I was a Catholic, I was many things. I was also an ethical and existential, as well as epistemological absolutist. So really quickly, not to treat everybody like dummies, because you're not dummies, but epistemology, how knowledge is derived, how we get knowledge, right? existentialism, life itself and the circumstances and or possible meaning surrounding that, and then ethics, morality. Okay, so there you go. So, you know, existentialism, like why we're here, if there's a reason, ethical, you know, morals, and then we have epistemology, how we know stuff. All right, so my position in a nutshell is that we ultimately don't know anything for sure, and that I, as a nihilist, completely and utterly reject, I can't say 100%, but I can say 99.999, any value pertaining to any of our lives or anybody's life, the human species or whatever in the scope of the universe. I also am an atheist. I do not believe in a god. I believe it could be possible, a god, a goddess, aliens, whatever, but I don't believe in it, and I find it to be man-made, contrived fiction regarding the religions that we have currently on Earth. Anyway, what are your positions?
Go.
Wow, that's my answer to that. Go on, you can answer that.
There's no answer. He didn't ask the question.
No, my response is wow.
Yeah.
What's your response?
Well, I'm very familiar with Rev. Very familiar, so that none of that is a surprise to me. But as you're still in shock, I guess I'll state my position. I am a moral absolutist. I believe in objective morality because if it does not exist, it makes the suffering of children, it makes the suffering of animals, it makes the suffering of human to human relative. And it being relative means that the worth and the value of that particular human experiencing that suffering does not matter. And that's just not true. And I know this, shut up, because of the Bible. I know this because of experience. I know this because I've traveled the world. I've been to many countries. So for you to know there is no God, for you to, I mean, and you didn't say that, but for you to end up in the position of nihilism, not just atheism, but nihilism, which is like a step above, is so extreme. And how do you know that God is a fiction made up by human beings when so much that happens in humanity is miraculous? Like, it will sound silly to say this, but like, it's coincidences and ironies. These are miracles. Like, these things don't just happen. It's not. I'm not as good at arguing as you are. I'm not as good at stating my position.
It's okay.
But I feel like that's what you're supposed to say. No, you're intelligent. No,
for a woman, you're pretty astute at it. You're pretty good. I don't even mean that as an insult. You know, just yeah. But I'm sorry. But finish your thing, not to direct you, and then let him, and then we can start tearing each other apart. I also have Friedrich Nietzsche's The Will to Power here in case we want to cross-reference.
Look, if I'm going to give my first rebuttal, it'll have to be by way of how do we deal with one overriding fact, which is, and I'll go back again to the whole deck chairs analogy here. This is preposterous. It really is. You know why it's preposterous? Because the enemies of humanity, those who are, subjecting us to lockdowns, mandatory vaccines, whatever else, they know our God. They admit that our God lives. They know that our God is real.
They work against him.
But they just work against him. So given that fact, how can you turn around and say you're an honest? I mean, it doesn't make sense. It makes you look stupid to our enemies. It does. It makes you look stupid to our enemies who quite clearly, we're living in a satanic world now, where basically Satanists will say, listen, we know there's a God. Basically, we hate him because he doesn't want to give us our freedom. But then there's you and every one of the so-called intellectuals saying, well, there's no God. So right there, you know what you're doing? You are leaving yourself open. You're not even defending yourself, bro.
I'm trying to let people talk.
Nonsense. Preposterous. You're not even defending yourself because those that will kick down your door right now.
That's kind of what stuff like this is for, not to Fed
post. They'll come in basically with a flipping drone. Drone your ass down.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
right?
think I'd miss it.
So again, I go back to the question. Before we can move on, what do you say to the enemies of humanity who believe in Satan, know that there's a God, but you don't?
Well, maybe I would posit, first of all, that perhaps the enemies are as stupid as the believers, but I think we should avoid using words like stupid. I get what you're saying, and I'm not offended, but typically with argumentation, you know, this like you're dumb.
No. What I was trying to do was say that they would think that you're stupid, basically. They would say that.
And they may.
Just to step in, Rev really is stupid. No, just kidding.
In some ways, yes. I never even finished math in college. One reason I never finished college. Glad I didn't, though. Otherwise, I'd have tons of debt like all these losers.
But can you see that for the both of us, we both need to address the issue that we have an enemy who believes. Because listen, you don't support Satan. Neither do I.
I don't believe in it. I don't.
Both on the same side.
No, we're not. Well, okay, all right. By the way, shouts to my boy No Lives. He's seen quite a roller coaster with me there. Thanks. All right, so Jimuphy, let me address some of what you're saying. So you're saying that even to your enemies, which in the technocratic rule the world, destroy humanity sense, I guess would be both of our enemies. How could I have like the seeming hubris to not believe in a god or whatever, something theistic? Well, just because an idea is extraordinarily popular does not make it true, first of all, because if we go back, not to go back to the race stuff, but even like 150, 160 years, slavery was like morally defendable according to the Bible. And actually, there's not one passage in your Bible that castigates slavery, and it's not listed as a sin. Now, I'm trying to direct this better, but basically the reason let's focus with God first, and then we can get to the morals, because I kind of have more fun with the like shredding morals than the shredding God thing. But anyway, so how do I not believe in God? Well, when you say God, my position is that there could be some kind of creator, God, goddess, sexless being, whatever. Like I said, many gods, like Hinduism, I don't know. I can't know anything. That's where the epistemological, again, how knowledge is derived, nihilism comes from, right? So I'm just very certain that there's not, but there could be. Now, I am almost dead certain, because again, that 99%, that your God, no offense, is garbage and is kind of as much as of an a-hole as Muhammad or Allah or whatever. The reason I say that now is not just to incense you both, even though I kind of would like to do that. I'm
used to hearing it.
In all seriousness, when you trap creations that you yourself intelligently, knowingly designed, okay, with the predetermined thought, knowing how they would operate, and punish them with the fear of perennial hellfire simply for existing, for being human, what is it, punishing the fathers and the sons unto the third and fourth generation for their iniquities and so forth. When you do this and then you claim to be a perfect being, if your idea of perfection is sadism, then clearly that must be it. Because to make, again, if I make something, if I make a toy or a model or whatever, and I make it broken or flawed or whatever, and I get mad at the creation, what does that say about me? So I'm saying your God, many religions, I'll shut up in a second and let you reply. Many religions came before it. Zoroastrianism, the Avesta, according to radiocarbon dating, 500 years minimum just in written form alone. Okay, you had you had so much. You had Attis, you had with Acdestus and all that. You had the cult of Isis, Cybele. Acdestus, Cybele. That was the Phrygian, was Acdestus. Anyway, you had like the almond tree instead of the cross. You had the castration in that story representative of the crucifixion. So the point is, many gods have come and gone before your God with maybe not the exact criteria in your scriptures, but very similar. All right. So, and also you took your religion, not to talk about our favorite group again, the Jews, but you took your religion. You took your religion from them, which is like if Jimuphy wrote a book and I stole his book and X'd out a bunch of stuff and added my own, was like, nah, I actually wrote it. So anyway, that's why I don't believe in your God. It's not because my puppy died or my girlfriend broke up with me. That's why. I'm sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I mean, that's fine. I mean,
I have a response for that too.
You're not the only one that doesn't believe in well, let me qualify my answer. You see, you're not the only one that hates my God. The enemies of humanity hates my God. So therefore then, that suggests that they know that there is a God. So right there. Now, you made a whole load of references to many different gods. And I mean, basically, what you've done there is you've created this soup of different sort of, you know, facts and figures, whatever else, and you've mixed them all together, basically, and you're choking on it, quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned.
How?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay. All right. Yes, indeed, we do have a God that has created all that is seen and unseen. That is for sure. And once again, the reason why humanity is in this position now is because, you know, the enemies of God have decided, well, they can create better. There's nothing about what you've said, actually, that isn't quoted in the Bible. There's nothing about what you've said.
I'm sorry to interject, but I'm pretty sure, first of all, there was a guy, I have to address this, who said that radiocarbon dating wasn't accurate. I mean, dude, I'm not a like radiology or radiography expert myself, but I mean, essentially they put something in a giant microwave-like apparatus, heat it up, age it. I mean, that's like saying that measuring like the inside of trees, you know, to see how old they are isn't accurate. So
no, it's not accurate.
But talking snakes are.
Rev, how do you explain this? How do you explain this? I mean,
explain what?
Without even dealing with that.
Okay.
How do you explain the fact that a mine that was shut down in the 60s in Western Australia opened up again in the 80s because some millionaire mogul decides, I want to reopen the mine. When they opened it up, do you know what they found?
What?
They found stalactites and stalagmites, my brother. You know what? According to dating, those stalactites and stalagmites have been there for 1,000 years. But everyone knew, of course, well, that's not possible because the mine had only been shut for 20.
I would quite.
Rev, it's all about the inputs and who's supplying you with the inputs. If the quality of your inputs are shit in, shit out, basically. And at the moment, you're shitting out.
Stop. Wait, both of you stop. Regarding carbon dating, biblically, if they have found that there were, a lot of archaeologists claim today that there is no evidence that the Hebrew people were ever the slaves of Egyptians. But that's because the dating of the Egyptian kings, the pharaohs, is wrong. And there is actually a history in the hieroglyphics that shows that there were a people who lived among Egyptians and that they did a mass exit. But people aren't willing to move the dates of the dates of the pharaohs and the kings because it would mean messing up history. The carbon dating and all that kind of stuff, it is wrong, and that in itself goes back to the original. Wait. That in itself goes back to the original thing we were talking about. What proves God? Those stories prove the Bible. The way the Bible came together, the 66
man written.
They were written thousands of years apart, yet they're all connected. That's another way to prove
they're not connected. They're not connected,
so
which is
first of all, wait
a minute. So, look, I don't know every intricacy of radiocarbon dating. However, to say it's a faulty science or whatever, I mean, I don't know if that's what you're saying. But now I don't know how old these stalagmites. I don't know how deep these stalagmites were, but I know that. I mean, there've been a lot of rocks and things of that nature that they've tested and compared to other rocks of certain hundreds or thousands of years. And so we're not gonna get even if let's say for the sake of argument that somehow radiocarbon dating is about as unreliable as a lie detector is admissible in U.S. court, right? Let's just say it's bogus, it's bollocks, it's garbage, right? What about word of mouth? So, I mean, the Avesta, all this stuff, the Hindu Vedas, this is hundreds and thousands of years older than your gods and your deities and so forth, okay? Even the Temple of Cybele, I believe on the Aventine, if I'm not mistaken, 191 BCE, or you Christians would say BC, right? So, I mean, that right there, that physical building, that structure was there, written in Roman records records, and that had, again, that story of Attis and the sacrifice and the blood. So you have these similarities before. You have Zoroaster, who was arguably
but Rev, I mean, technically what you're saying basically doesn't make any sense.
How?
Because if you're saying that, or the evidence that you've put forward is older than our God,
yes,
who do you know that was living at that time that could prove that to you?
I could use the same argument against you. Who did you know Jesus? You know, that's an argument from authority. We have
500 people witnessed his ascension.
Well, Rev, don't use that argument then. Take that argument out. Don't use it then.
But we have to a degree.
No, you don't have to, because at the end of the day, neither one of us knows anyone that is available now who was living then to verify.
That's true.
So please take that out of the equation.
All right. So so I freely admit that, like,
the stalagmite example.
Let each other speak.
The stalagmite and stalagmite example is a good example, because both of us can go and verify that. Oh, by the way, the actual aging is incorrect. And to be honest with you, it's the same thing with carbon dating. No one can actually verify away from the dogma of whatever scientific theory as an additional proof. There's only one. You see,
but do you know that for sure? Because neither of us are qualified enough to speak on that.
I'll tell you what I do know. Rav, I'll tell you what I do know. You look at some of these so-called scientific peer-reviewed research papers, and you know what they don't tell you.
They all work for the big machine.
I know that. Well,
they don't tell you the degree of error that is included in their research,
no.
or the bias.
They should. Okay, look. So as far as let me make this clear. I am. This is where I've gotten into it with other atheists. This is going to tie back more to the stuff that I'm more interested in. I am interested in this. Don't get me wrong, but I'm more interested in what we're about to get into, because again, epistemology. So the thing of it is that there are atheists, maybe even some Christians that join it with their faith somehow, that like worship science essentially, right? So
science, isn't it?
Right. Well, science is just a methodology to attempt to understand the world around us as empirically as possible, okay? So what I'm saying is that I know there's bias in science. There's arguably way more of it in religion or faith, because that's just completely mind dependent.
But you don't have any proof of that. At the end of the day, you
I don't have any proof.
At the end of the day, science, you know what science is? Science is the box that they can put you in order to provide you with the inputs to prevent you from connecting with your creator. Because remember, they are enemies of our creator. They know he exists. They just don't want you to.
Wait. So you're making a lot of inference. You're making a lot. Sorry to cut you off, Dia. You're making a lot of inference. You're making a lot of inference.
Go and speak to Alistair Crowley.
Wait.
Go reference Alistair Crowley, and he'll tell you about a God that he hates.
Wait. First of all, hold on. Yeah, let me speak. I'll let you speak. So listen, you're making a lot of inferences, okay? So you're doing a kind of epistemological error where you're prescribing to know all these things. Now, let me ask you, when you say okay, or they know, the enemies of whatever, the technocrats know that God exists, are you contending that they know it as real, as we would say, as this is a cigar, or that their hats we're wearing are like that concrete level? Would you say it on that level that or not?
Rev,
quite
you know what you need to do? Rev, you need to go and ask them.
Okay, so let me ask you then.
Go and ask them.
Well, I don't know. I don't really want to talk to them. I don't know who to, I'm asking you, do you believe, since you're here, do you believe on that level, the same level that you're ostensibly wearing a hat, and so am I, of God? Do you believe that legitimacy, like the same concrete evidence, or do you believe it's faith-based? Like,
no. I believe it's factual based because of the evidence that's been presented to me in my own life. 100%.
Okay. So as real as the hats and all that, right? Okay. Absolutely. So the difference is, though, and this is a very rudimentary argument, but it still holds. We can take our hats or this cigar or whatever, cut it up and measure it empirically, right? So whether we like each other's hats or we don't or whatever, that's irrelevant. We can cut them up and find out that hat is different material than your skin. We cannot do that with God. This is an unfalsifiable.
Exactly right. You know why you can't do that with God? You know why you can't do that with God? Because he exists outside his creation. Listen, I'm a developer. I write software.
Right.
What are you going to do? Are you going to use that software to verify my existence? Of course you can't. I exist outside of my creation. So you can't use that as an excuse, Ray.
Well, you may exist outside of your software. I may not need the man Jimuphy to use his application, but I mean, you're also applying something completely like naively imaginary and yet somehow superlatively powerful to a software program that a guy made. Dia, what were you going to say?
Oh, I just kept telling him to stop interrupting you.
No, go on.
No, that's fine. He's fine.
But I know you guys are working it out. I don't think I was going to say anything in particular, but I do agree that the logic that we have that has been implemented on the planet Earth is that everything has a creator. This phone was created by someone. This bottle was created by someone. So that logic that we have should also be applied spiritually or supernaturally or whatever the term. Wait. Let me finish. And so that means that our universe and the earth that we're living on was created by someone. That's just logistical. But then people get trapped and they're like, oh, but then who created God? The thing is that doesn't work because God is. He says, I am. That just means he always existed. The Bible itself has that quote in there. And he exists outside of his own creation. He's in another dimension, on another plane to us.
Okay. Go ahead. Finish. I'm sorry.
Go. No, that's my point. I'm just giving it a little bit more depth.
All right, fair enough. That's a very easy, common, and yet, I mean, look, I understand. I believe that for a long time. I understand that. Okay. But the thing, and logic, which I don't like logic very much, by the way, because logic, a lot of people don't know this, involves intuition. Like if you look back at the ancient Greek study, like I like empiricism. I like straight up cut it open. What's it made out of? Is it not magically disappearing? Cool. I don't like, well, that A and B makes sense. Therefore 10 and 20 must make sense. Like I get why, but okay. So having said that, if I ask a Muslim right now, if I ask a Hindu right now, if I ask a Buddhist right now, they will all, well, Buddhism depends on the Buddhist, but anyway, they will all tell me exactly what you're telling me in that, but your God is invalid and theirs is correct. So this is another problem with faith, religion, especially, right?
Agreed.
That's trickery from the devil.
Right.
So,
thank you.
But that's your belief, though. See, they would say the Muslim would tell me you're from El Shaitan and that you need to repent. Like this is the problem. The people reference near death experiences, right? They see Jesus or something. Did you know that in Hindu culture, like Indians and so forth, when that happens to them, they see. I'm sorry, there was some crosstalk. Yeah, I feel like the teacher. No, I'm kidding. I'm enjoying that. I hope I'm not boring you both or the audience.
You're not yet.
I hope I am.
I'm yawning because I'm tired. So
okay, it's not like I was up all night. That's okay. That was my doing. Anyway, the thing of it is that when Hindus die temporarily or whatever, they see Amraj, who's kind of like almost like a guardian of the underworld, and he has a whip and he whips them in the bum, and it's like, you brought me the wrong Vidal, bring him back. So to them, this is not this sacred experience. Maybe some see Brahman, some see Vishnu. The Muslims, they see Muhammad. So the point is that the problem with all of this stuff, look, this cigar, if I could throw it at you through the screen and it hits you in the head, you'd feel it. You can cut it open. You, your mom, Jimuphy's mom, everybody can verify. You know, we're still acting on faith to some degree epistemologically because, I don't know, maybe it's an illusion. You know, maybe it's an illusion, but it doesn't seem to be, okay? The problem with what you guys are saying, and I don't doubt that you believe this wholeheartedly. I don't doubt that the Muslim believes in all. I don't doubt that, okay? I don't doubt that 1,000 years ago the Germanic, tribe guy believed in Wotan. All right. The problem is this is all mind dependent. God, Wotan, all of this stuff. That you have books, okay? You have very convincing books, but that is all you have. Books of books written by men. Nothing empirical, nothing verifiable. All right.
Okay, but the thing is, though, Rev, you say that we operate still a little bit on faith. You as an atheist do as well.
Of course you
We
do.
all
You have faith
We all
in the
do.
sciences. Yeah, okay.
I don't have a lot of it.
I'm just making sure
By the
we're
way,
on the same page.
I think the Big Bang is stupid. So we would agree on
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I think I was talking to my friend. I won't say his real name, but Finn. Shouts to Finn Trinot. Your audience would hate him because he's an even more defeatist nihilist than I. But he's a great musician, nice kid. Hai stavito nekari if you're watching. But anyway, Finnish obscenities. The point is that the point is that he actually makes me look stupid with some of his arguments, and English is not even native. But the thing is, we were talking about this the other day because I did a 2-hour live stream on the Reviler Red channel just reading Nietzsche and talking about stuff. So he postulated that there was probably always some propensity of something to create life or existence, or that some form of existence always existed, kind of like energy, right? Like it's eternal, it's always transferring. There's not necessarily a beginning or an end. I might be confusing that with matter, which is stupid of me, but you get the idea. So the same way you apply that eternal nature to God, or the Hindu would to Brahman or whatever, I would apply that to the ability to create life or time. Like Finn's thing was time, right? So even if you have nothing, if you yeah, so I'll try to slow down on the long-windedness. It's, I think I'm doing better. Sorry. When I'm not drunk, I haven't, I'm not going to say how long I haven't drinking because it doesn't control me. This is an addiction. That was just stupid. Too much time on my hands. Nothing going on.
You're doing well.
But the point is that, you give something enough time and essentially anything could happen. So evolution, there's actual evidence of. Is there every last fossil, every transitional period? No, but there's a copious amount of evidence, right? The Big Bang I just find idiotic, because to say that there was literally nothing and magically, you're literally saying God at that point, just like who created God? It was always here. So either way, you arrive at a stupid conclusion that you're never going to be satisfied with, and thus existentially, see, that's that existential nihilism. Life does not have any meaning. The only purpose of life, arguably, is to have sex and create new life so that they can do it and they can do it and they can do it. But that's not really a purpose. That's just like a biological imperative. So I reject any meaning or value to any of this. And people could say, oh, if that's the case, why don't you kill yourself? Well, that would imply investment enough on my part to do that. And also, I guess if I was miserable enough to kill others and myself, I would do it, or I would have done it. But I'm not. Like, I guess I'd rather just be alive and just be another speck of dust on the earth until I'm in the ground. Anyway, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's just going back to your earlier comments, and that with regards to, I think, because it's going to be the comment that you made, wasn't it?
About, I said that God always existed outside of time. And
no, what was the other one? You said and I said I was going to say that.
So that an answer to his question about gods and religion.
Look, you see, here's the thing, Rev. You still haven't really answered the most fundamental question, which is, why is it that the enemies of humanity are not shy in coming forward and saying, yes, there is a God, we just don't want to go with his plan for the rest of humanity? If I can just finish, you see, whilst we can delve into all the complexities at this moment in time, our enemies are the ones who are able to lock us down, dictate where and when where we can go, what we can do, and so on and so forth. They are very, very powerful at this moment in time, and they have an anti-human agenda, an agenda that essentially seeks to undo the work of their enemy, God. So it seems rather futile. It seems rather just a total waste of intellectual time and space talking about all these subgenres, because at the end of the day, they were only created by entities who wanted to obfuscate the true nature of where we came from and who created us. So that we could get to the point now where, okay, here's one thing. All those different religions, bar one, are now converging. Mm-hmm. Muslim, Sikh, Buddhism, you name it, even Judaism, they're all converging into one religion. Guess which one is not included there?
Yours, I'm sure.
Christianity. Now, okay. Right. So
Kabbalah.
You've got a convergence of all these religions which are accepted by our enemies, who blatantly say, "You see, bruh, this is really quite simple."
All right, let me answer your question. First of all, this convergence you speak of, I don't know where, short of like Jews and Noahide laws for Gentile or Goyim, as they like to affectionately refer to us as, I don't know where. Maybe it's happening, and I'm not as educated where Buddhism and Islam are. I know with the fundamentalist sects that's not happening, but you could be right. So to answer your question concisely in like a short sentence, why does the enemy? Because the enemy believes in the notion of God and your God and knows that you draw strength from it. That's all. It doesn't have to be real. It's simply the power of suggestion. So that's why. But no, I answered your question. But go ahead.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, I'm finding, look, that's a fair answer. But my reply to that was, what? And you would go to, I'm saying this to our enemies, what? Mm-hmm. And you will go to the extent that you're going to? You literally would undo the very fabric of time, space, destroy humanity from the inside out, want to change us genetically for a God that doesn't exist? Really?
Maybe.
I mean, even the true nature, listen, the true nature of of the earth itself, the earth's cosmology, you would obfuscate that and create an elaborate facade, all for a God that doesn't exist. Really?
All it would take is enough avarice, like human greed and selfishness and superlative power to do it, mate. That's all it would take, regardless of whose God is right or wrong. Like you said, they don't care about anything, just destroying humanity and consolidating power. If they can do it with robots, they'd do it.
All that would make sense, except for a few facts, though, that you don't understand, that you probably don't know. So let's go back to the Noahide laws. Every single American president for the last, I believe, 10 years has basically signed declarations that the American Constitution and whatever else will align itself with the Noahide laws.
Now you're on it. Yep.
Right. Okay. So why? For a God that doesn't exist, what would be the point?
I mean, the point is, again, their own selfish gain. Like I said, I get why you keep framing it back to God, as you see this as the source of basically like all life and all good, and that these scumbags, if we could call them, I guess, are diametrically opposed to it. But again, it doesn't make the idea itself real. Real quick, I feel like we're beating a dead horse, although I've enjoyed this. Can we move on to morality? So I think we've covered the theism part. This is kind of like the part 2 that Dia and I never got to do of the. So if she has any final closing things about that, if you don't mind, I'd like to move on to knowledge and epistemology and really morality. And I know it'll come from God for you guys, but I just want to pick up. I don't think I'll even need to read the Nietzsche book.
Just refresh it.
It's not us, it's him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're good.
It's both ends.
You're fine. You're fine. It was just a delay.
Cool.
All right.
Okay.
So do you want to move on to like nihilism itself or morals? Or I mean, I don't mind talking about the God thing.
Let's move on to morals.
Let's talk about bunny rabbits.
Let's move on to morals, because I think that we're going to agree on a lot of things there, really, moralistically.
Oh, no, we won't, but okay. This will be fun. The fact that we won't will be fun. And also, if anyone, Dia, like, sorry, you do a great show and you're a good host, but you're not the best chat master. So if people have like questions or donations,
there's lots of questions, Rev, as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at the questions, and some of them are just moronic. Some of them, and I am really tired, so I probably am skipping a few as well.
Did I win that bet with? Did I win that bet with you yet?
People have watched me, and they know for a long time that the questions are always at the end. So they're gonna
True.
have, they're gonna have to rewrite them. I don't know how, I don't know what else to say. The questions are always the last 20 minutes of the program. So,
oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. You're right.
You do know that. So they know that too, but that's okay. Go ahead. They're just excited. They're just passionate.
My friend,
morals.
Real quick, shout to Joe. That time that you interviewed Gypsy Crusader, he donated like a bunch of money to you, and you just never saw it. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's that girl that I donated all that money to, the English girl or whatever." I'm like, "Yeah, she's Australian." But anyway, morals. So I'm not to put words in your mouth, but I'm assuming that in your minds, morals would come from God. Okay, but I guess like, so do you want me to state my position, then you state yours, because I don't want to put words in your mouth. All right, so yeah, thank you. My position, and by the way, it's not because, oh, Nietzsche is so cool. It's just that having read his works, I see it now in literary form, like just completely, ensconced there. So anyway, maybe it's like how you feel with the Bible in a way. I don't know. But anyway, my position really quickly is just that morals don't exist except in our minds. And just because we so fervently have been taught to believe in them and adhere to them since we were yay high does not make them legitimate. People choose, craft, and create their own morals, and sometimes they don't even choose, and they're just inculcated with it. What may be right in America is wrong in the bush, or vice versa. Cannibalism in the bush versus cannibalism here. Rape, murder, pedophilia, any of it. I'm not a fan of rape or pedophilia, but can I say it's objectively morally wrong? No, because there is no such thing as right or wrong, and we construct it. There's only what damages or creates empirically. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, you know what? Again, believe it or not, I actually agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, wholeheartedly. Look, here's the thing. You see, 60 years ago, okay, was it morally right that you're going to hold someone down and inject them with a foreign substance against their will?
Yep.
Absolutely not. Today, hey, it's all good. I mean, this is it. It's perfectly acceptable.
Ooh. No, they would. If they had the needle in this thing and said it's good to put. Yeah, I'm sorry to Fed post, but Can
I just finish? Because my conclusion is pretty significant. This is why you need a higher power, a higher authority above us, because left to man, we're going to chop and change, switch what we deem to be morality based on any sort of, egotistical or, political agendas, whatever. It's problematic because men, we are sinful. We are inherently evil. Okay. So you need a higher power. And right there this is where I have to believe in a God. I cannot believe in man.
No.
Right.
Okay. All right. So what's thank you for that, Jimuphy. So what's Dia's response?
My position is there is objective morality. You get upset about things. You get mad about things. I've heard you. You're not. Sorry? I've heard you. I've heard you many a time. Does that mean that you're just getting angry because of your personal objective, because of your subjective opinion, or have you genuinely been wronged by whoever has wronged you in that situation? I had a moment in my life on a personal level that
hang on, before you finish that,
you're confusing me, dude.
My question to Svetlink, who says, and this is the kind of like limited intellectual capacity that keeps you away from God. You see, he says, I don't see God, so I don't believe in anything I can't see.
Gravity.
So therefore, you don't believe in air, then, do you? You don't believe in it?
Yeah, I think that's a poor argument on face value. If you meant it at a deeper level, mate, I would say just, go with empiricism, because what they just said, like gravity, air, and stuff like that, you may not be able to see it, but you can still measure it. I don't want to be rude. May I get a quick refill and you ruminate over? I'll be right back.
Sure,
Thanks so much. Okay, I'll be right back.
Look, I think the moral argument for God has to rest outside of mankind. It has to, because
of course
we're
stupid. Humanity is flawed. We're stupid. We're foolish.
Absolutely right. But you know something? I just, for me, right at this moment in time where humanity is literally at the crossroads, it is a lot of the questions we're asking have very easy answers now. And I go back to Stephen Wells, he was an atheist who's recently become a Christian, on one simple fact, and it's this: oh, the enemy of mine, the enemy of humanity, actually believes in a God but hates him. Perhaps I should believe in God and like him then. It's a very simple argument. It's very simple.
Fair enough. Sorry, I came in at the tail end of that, and thank you for your patience. I apologize. Could I not make that argument for anything, though? Like my communist...
I didn't get to finish my point.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, that was he who interrupted it to talk to smack me.
Oh.
It wasn't you. I was going to say that I have been through things in my life where you have stood against people who have your ideology, and you have backed me up. You have behaved honorably. And many people have said to me, ew, why do you defend, why are you friendly with Reviler? Do you know what I mean? And I know you know the person who said that.
Oh, sure. Many of them. They're wonderful people, aren't they? Really, really loyal. Anyway, go ahead.
But my point is, there is such a thing as honor. There is such a thing as loyalty. These things are not subjective. They're real.
Prove that they're not.
I'm using the tactic of personal experiences rather than God, because you don't believe in God. You have honor. You have loyalty. He knows this. A lot of people know this because I've told them the story about what you did, and they're like, oh, Rev did that? You have that.
No, Rev's a really nice guy.
No.
So are you. I'm actually...
Rev's a nice guy pretending to be a not nice guy.
I don't know, man. I actually stand by all that stuff I said in this stupid drunken interview. It's ironic. I thought I'd be giving my best unfiltered, and I was just bumbling and incoherent through half of it. But look, I've always said there are some good exceptions, and I would say Jimuphy is definitely one of them. Sorry to word it that way. But
that's my case, though. So black people.
Right. Oh, all right. So
you're running off the algorithm that you've been told to think. But anyway.
Look, to address what you said with honor and loyalty. So this is interesting. So for
real thing, you acquire it, he acquires it, I acquire it. We walk the narrow road. You're an atheist walking a narrow road. You're not taking the easy way. You're taking the hard way. You're kind of almost doing the Christian thing without realizing it. How do you respond to that? Go ahead.
For instance, for some of our viewership, they might recognize the Deutsch phrase, the German phrase, "Mein Ehre ist Treue." So on SS daggers, right? So my honor is loyalty. So in other words, loyalty, honor. I do use these words as I sometimes use the phrase like, "Oh, thank God." I try to say "thank nature" or something, but sometimes I slip. But because then people are like, "Oh, see, I gotcha." Like, yeah, dummy, you really got me. But anyway, the thing of it is that we construct. So the notion of honor or loyalty does exist. However, what exactly that is very subjective. To somebody who absolutely, believes in throwing friends, whether they're real life friends or internet long distance friends, under the bus for popularity or for some LARPing like nationalist losers. Well, winners in some ways, and then personal failures in their own personal lives. Won't get into that, but like scumbags who borrow money from women but want to talk about and never pay it back, but want to talk about, get back in the kitchen there, Shayla, and so forth. I don't know. I have no clue. But anyway, the thing of it is that I don't name names publicly like this. But when people do good, I'm not going to, even if I don't like them, I'm not going to trash them. You know what I mean? But the thing is this, we have our own ideas of loyalty. All right. So that's what I would say. Like, we have our own ideas of it. We have a general idea like consistency, longevity, right? But I mean, that's like saying, oh, you're nice, or that's morally right or wrong. I mean, like I said, we go to the bush, man. Cannibalism, sex with a child, whatever. That might not be wrong at all. It might be wrong not to do that, honestly.
But isn't it funny that those who subscribe to that sort of mad sadistic satanic behavior,
like that,
what do they believe in? You see, we're going around in circles, right? Because what I'm trying to do is show you and everyone else that actually it's all from the same root. It's the same tree. It's the same, you know, entities, if you like. Now, there's a guy who asked a question. He said, "What's it like? Ghost spirits?" Can we go back to it?
Go back up.
Yeah.
I was joking, guys. I did not drink from that bottle.
I will be happy. I will be happy if half your chat is trashing me just for the attention. I value that. Some of them are my fans too.
What was the name of the user?
Can't remember.
I remember the first time we did this, and like half of her audience, or like 3/4 of it, hated me and was like, "Why are you talking to him? He's gonna ban." And it's like, are you trash the left and all that, but you can't hear ideas just like them that are contrary to yours? Yeah,
No, exactly.
That's the one. Good. All right. So look, this
Dark helmet.
Dark helmets.
I'll read it out. God, the soul, ghosts have zero evidence. We can't see atoms, but Japan would say they exist. LOL.
But you know something? Yeah, I'll let you answer that first, Rev.
Oh well, I don't quite get his Japan. Oh, okay, now I get it. Sorry, that was stupid. Nice one, man. That's Hiroshima joke. That's racist. No, God the soul. Yeah, I mean zero evidence empirically, because I could have intuition that these things exist. I could have clunked my head and had a dream that I don't think is a dream, that Jesus and the angels came to me. Right. So please, people, look, do what you want. I don't like to police your language, but if you're gonna go against the theists and stuff, please at least say like empirically, because it just kind of makes us look dumb sometimes. If you just say, "Oh, I can't see it," or "There's no evidence," be specific. Empirical, man. This is a cigar. Cut it open. See what it's made of.
Let's talk about the empirical evidence, okay? Because okay, so I have an
what, of morality or of God?
Well, no.
Oh, let's do morality, because it doesn't exist. But go ahead. I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let's
Neither of them exist.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going back. I'm gonna go back.
Oh, wait. Let's get this guy. Sorry. Celtic Cook, Reviler, you just said pedophilia might be okay. It might be okay to people who think it's okay. I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's a good idea at all. I would not be engaged in it. I actually think the death penalty for like legitimate child rape and stuff is a good idea. That's me personally. Someone else could say, no, you're morally wrong for that. I don't remember the rest of his comment, but yeah, see, again, you're obfuscating audience members, thinking that I'm like endorsing rape and pedophilia, when again, my personal feeling, but this guy, I'm just saying, and I understand why people fall into that, but like they think if you don't emotionally bang and scream that, this is wrong, like, no, I don't like it, dude. I don't like people banging little kids. I think they should probably be killed or sent to some island to kill and rape each other. But that's me. I cannot tell you that is definitely right or wrong. I just think it's wrong. I don't think it's a good thing. I think we all agree on that. So, yeah.
I have no interest in this question. I don't know why this is the one that captured you. Go ahead.
Yeah, the reason why it captures me is because, you see, the notion that God, the soul, ghosts have zero evidence, you see, that's based on the evidence that you're making that statement, Dark Helmet, based on many different things that you don't know. So here's something that's going to surprise you, okay? So this is the 70s. You've got Harvard University researchers. They've decided to interview 4,000 supposedly UFO abductees, okay? Mm-hmm. And they've gone through the whole, you put them through the whole empirical process. Mm-hmm. And but by the time they got to the end, they realized something peculiar, that there were a group of these abductees who the phenomenon had stopped. Okay. But they couldn't understand what it was. And after 10 years, so this is a proper empirical peer-reviewed research. Okay, after 10 years and like 4,000, subjects, whatever else, they've decided to abandon the research. 5 years later, one of the researchers whilst going through some of the paperwork, he's noticed something. The guys who said that they were able to stop the abductions, they all had one thing in common. They all said they stopped it because they said they weren't afraid that they believed in God.
They weren't afraid.
They said they weren't afraid anymore, that they believed in God. So obviously for this guy, being an atheist, he wasn't going to take that. So he's decided to reopen the whole case. Basically, this time, just looking at, I think it was like 600 out of 4,000. Okay, he's gone back to the investigation and found that yes, indeed, every single one of those instances, all right, where these abductions had occurred, and a lot of these people had, physiological evidence to back it up. Something was definitely happening to them. But as to why it stopped, the fact that 100% of those 600 people was clear, they weren't psychologically deranged. They didn't have any sort of mental problems. Indeed, the phenomenon stopped, and so the researcher was able to conclude, right, that whatever happened to him wasn't a physiological experience; it was a spiritual entity.
Okay, but there's no way
a spiritual entity that actually would have been involved in it.
There's
so,
no okay.
So in other words, to say that ghosts don't exist or whatever else, he hasn't got it. Listen. The evidence suggests otherwise.
Wait. This is a good one, real quick. Wait, I'm really liking this. Please don't end this like soon. I want to. Can we go for?
Oh no, you guys! I might go to bed soon. You guys.
No,
keep going.
Stop it. You should get more involved. You're a great host, but I wanted both of you to come at me more hardcore. I like it though. I guess Jimuphy and I are the main event. Here's something this will piss off even the atheists that follow me. I actually do believe in ghosts. I just don't believe in a god. So figure that out.
Makes no sense.
It makes absolute sense. There has
to be a source.
No. Listen, it does make sense because get this, and I know from my youth as well, I had parents that also believed in ghosts and on all sorts of whatever else. Here's the thing: if these in Scripture says that ghosts are actually the disembodied spirits.
Demons.
Essentially, they're demons. Thank you very much, Rev. They are actual demons. So in other words, these are the condemned spirits. They're condemned. Now, one thing that people are to understand with spirits is they lie, they cheat.
They can.
They're trying to evade judgment. So in actual fact, coming back as your dead relative is your whatever else, just so that you can hang on to communicating with them. They'll do that all day long.
Now, wait, let me tell you real quick why you're wrong about that if you're talking about every case. So the only reason I believe, let's say paranormal or the preternatural, right? It could be residual energy. It could be like maybe we just, I don't know, we're high at that moment because of an electromagnetic field and we trip and imagine this. I don't know. But I do think there's something like that. Only because I've had some personal experiences with it. Maybe some other time for Halloween we can tell ghost stories. But my mother, by the way, well, when she was little, she was like very clairvoyant. And my mom's not one to lie about stuff. She's not even really religious. She's like a typical, Catholic Christian person, just go to mass once a year kind of deal. But anyway, so she's not somebody who's even really that spiritual or religious or whatever. But really weird stuff. And even her dealings with a psychic when she was young that predicted a car accident, predicted her pregnancy, predicted her marriage, stuff like that. Like dates that line up exactly, really creepy stuff. I don't know if I ever even told Dia all of that entirely. But anyway, no, I mean, like to her, like the thing of it is, was it not Paul? Perhaps I'm incorrect, but to be absent from the body is to be in judgment of God. So I don't know where we can look up that verse and where it comes from. I know it is a verse. I would know like 1 Corinthians 6:9 through 14. I would know Psalm 105, 8 through 10. I don't remember that one though. Sorry. But so how would biblically, that sounds like heresy, and even your fellow Christians, I see what you're saying, Jimuphy. And in the case of Ouija boards and stuff like that, playing with those. I don't think you'll ever get Dia on a Ouija board, but yeah, but not all the spirits or whatever manifestations are maleficent. You know, my ex-girlfriend, for instance, used to see her dead husband and stuff. You know, and nothing bad ever happened. So I mean, like a light would turn on or off. You know what I mean? So he never like killed her or anything.
Here's the thing. My understanding, and I'm sticking by this, is that look, our interaction with the world around us and our perception is based on interactions really with frequency. What we see is basically a limited frequency band. What we hear is with a limited frequency band. So here's my question to all of you then. Given that we, our senses only allow us an interaction with a limited band of frequencies, are you seriously suggesting there's nothing else beyond that?
Yeah, I think that's myopic to think that. Just like with aliens, people think, oh, you're retarded because you... I mean, aliens could exist. It does seem unlikely that we're the only intelligent life in the whole universe. Dia, what's the subject that's more interesting for you? I know you're tired. I'm not saying you're bored, but is there something else that you wanted to... Because you look like you're kind of fading out.
Oh, I am. I'm definitely fading out. But the topic that we're talking about is what we're supposed to be talking about. We said morality and God.
Right. So, well, I think we covered, look, you guys believe, you didn't really comment much on morality, Dia. So what, it comes from God. Do you think an absolute morality can exist without God? Because Jimuphy doesn't seem to think so. So what do you think?
No, because he put it there. It's like you create your own world. You have designed it to be a certain way. You design the rules. If you were designing a game, or Warcraft, or whatever the hell, you design everything for it. What is considered okay? What is considered not okay? We know what we know because we've been, created in His image, and we have the knowledge we have because we have a book that tells us, what we need to know and learn. That's the same with when you're raising a child. Don't touch the candle. Don't touch the candle. They'll touch the candle. They'll burn themselves. They'll realize, mom said it for a reason.
So okay, I get what you're saying. So because the thing of it is, and this is why I really don't like and get along with a lot of other atheists, because not to touch into the politics real quick, but they tend to be very left-leaning, the vast majority of them, right? Like there are not a lot of nationalistic atheists. I'm not a nationalist, but I do still have nationalistic tendencies. But the thing of it is that they tend to replace God, because once they lose that framework, God or Allah or goddess, they feel as
something else less than meaningful, or government.
Yeah, right. Government.
And isn't it funny? And
morality.
But isn't it funny? Because then you see, if we're saying that we have an enemy that's trying to really push us to a new world order, one world government, one world religion, then it makes absolute sense that their arch nemesis, God, is that which they would want to, if you like, encapsulate in everything that is anti-God. It makes absolute sense.
From that framework, yes, from that framework. But again, that may be millions or billions of people's framework. That may be 10 people's framework. But from that framework, yes, but that is still your framework, sir. And this is my framework from what I have known and gleaned throughout life, whatever. But
Rev, you know what? The only difference between me and you is this. Okay, now I could start talking about the tree of
skin.
We look exactly alike.
I could start talking about the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and the tree of life.
I know the story, man. I know.
Exactly. So I'm not going to go there, but what I will say is this: the only difference between me and you is experiences. I've had a personal experience. No. That is it. Because here's the thing: I've often said, and I've said this to Dia, I've said this to so many people over the last 12 months, especially since COVID, that I now realise that the reason why I went through the experiences I went through was so that I could be broken down and come to a relationship with God. Because otherwise, Rev, I'd be just like you, my brother. I would think that there's no God. I think I'm above that nonsense, you know, and I would have really articulate excuses for why there isn't a God. What's happened is,
I mean, explanations.
over the 10 years, like I've had experiences that have knocked my intellectual reasosoning and everything, knocked it out of the park.
Boy, but let me ask you this. I get what you're saying, all right? And I have not lived your life, nor have you lived mine. So I'm not going to say you have not had experiences. I'm sure you have had them. However, let's pretend real quick. This is another problem with religion, especially, right? Not so much spirituality, but religion. So, and I know you would say faith, but your faith is derived from your religion. You know the God you pray to. You don't pray to ISIS. You don't pray to, right. So if you lived, now I'm just asking, I think you're primarily racially or ethnically, you're of Nigerian descent, right? Is that true?
That's a damn good guess.
Oh, well, she told me that once. Yeah. She's I think. All right. So let's go back like 1500 years ago, right? In Nigeria, in ancient Nigeria. Okay. Maybe not a whole lot was going on, hunting and whatever, slavery, just like, just like Romans were doing. Romans were taking other white people as slaves. Blacks were taking other blacks as slaves. Maybe that's another argument against racism for you anti-racist people watching. I don't know. Anyway, the thing is, if you were not Jimuphy, if you were Jimuphy or whatever, you were your great ancestor from 1500 years ago, right? That guy would never have heard of a Jesus, man. So you would have still been worshiping animist gods. And if she was in the ancient Iberian Peninsula where her people came from, who I don't know what their ancient religion was, but I'm just saying I'm primarily Sicilian. So if I was back then, I mean, who knows? Maybe it would get
you're Sicilian.
He's half.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Really?
The other half is white.
Look, first, I'm going to answer your question and say yes, you're right. But here's the thing. I found out 3 years ago that an ancestor of mine had come across Christian missionaries, and this guy apparently was he was a prominent figure in his region, very rich, very, very powerful man. And he came across these missionaries who basically told him about God, told him about Jesus Christ. And right then, let's just say basically, he caused a fork in the road in terms of what I should have believed in. He became a Christian basically, okay, and he was convinced that, my God, you know, I mean, he literally let go of whatever practices that they were doing. He let go of it straight, and he was convinced that these missionaries. But also, again, I think from what I understood, there were experiences in his life.
But But go back 3,000 years. There's no such thing as Jesus yet. You see what I'm saying? Real quick, this Bill Hilly guy. I mean, dude, some admixture of Turkish, probably true, but primarily Carthaginian, mate, Phoenician. Okay, so he's talking like Anatolia. I'm sure there was mixing of Anatolia. Well, I mean, Phoenicians are basically, the Proto-Phoenicians were just Carthaginians, but dude, I'm just saying.
They're Nephilim. They're extract of Nephilim.
Well, you see, that's another. No, but here's the thing. That's another topic in itself.
I liked that video with that guy, the professor or whatever, because he at least seemed to have more physical evidence for his theological beliefs. But real quick, look.
And he's a Christian, by the way.
Yeah. Look, if we were in ancient Canaan, okay, it would have been El and all that. Like if it were Inanna and in Sumeria, like I'm just saying, it's cultural relativism. This is another problem with religion. If the chances of you guys even today, okay, if you lived in Tibet of being Christian, it would be so unlikely. You'd be Shinto, you'd be Buddhist, you'd be Taoist or something. If you lived in Afghanistan, your parents would probably be Muslim. Yeah.
I can respond to this. The point is, we're not in that what if that you keep mentioning.
But it could have easily happened.
We are lucky. We are blessed. We are fortunate. God has given me that knowledge that I have.
Amen.
Why have I been chosen to have Him in my life? Like, it's the perception you have to change, Rev.
Yeah, you know what? That's a really good answer. That's the best answer.
But it's still but it's still
cookie sometimes.
That's a good answer.
But it's still this like limited self-circular reasoning. Look, reasoning, if you go entirely 360 with the whole thing, it's all circular because we only have
answer
limit.
to your question, your ultimate question is this. Go ahead, finish.
No, what's the answer to the ultimate
ultimate
question?
answer to your question is
Like
that missionaries are sent out to the Amazonian rainforest. Missionaries are sent to the cannibalistic New Guinea tribes, and additionally there is. Yeah, well, hopefully not. No, you're fine.
They should have stayed away. Based stick man for real in the bush. No, I'm sorry. So what? So missionaries. So you would see this as God's way of reaching people he ordinarily wouldn't. Is that what you're saying?
100%.
At some degree, and also the other thing is that there is a verse in the Bible. I don't know where it is because I'm bad with that stuff. And it says every human being on earth knows there is a God.
They will know. They will know. Yes.
Your intellect battles with your spiritual
spirit.
With the spirit. But there is a Bible verse that says something to the effect of, but geez, God, nobody. If you're on Judgment Day, God, nobody ever told me about you. It'll be like, well, you already knew. It was written into your heart. You already knew. You just chose to ignore.
I'm just saying. All right.
There's that saying that there are no atheists in foxholes or whatever, you know.
But that's just some trope. That's just some stupid like pseudo aphorism. Like there could be atheist. Dude, there are times in traffic I thought I was gonna die, like almost getting hit by a semi on the interstate. I was like, oh God, help! Like I never. So I mean, I don't know. Like
right there, that's in your heart. You would say that. You see.
No, I wouldn't. I don't believe in it, man.
No. But here's the thing. You know what's really interesting? The reason why they say that is because at that moment in time, whatever barrier that has kept you from God, that it goes then. Now it's just your spirit and whatever else that you're going to be confronted with. It is that says, "Oh God, please, straight." There are no atheists in foxholes for real.
No, that's an idea that you guys with already the presupposition of God have, but I get why you would say that. But look, like you understand the cultural relevancy, you understand the time relevancy, just like homosexuality was illegal and evil, in the Middle Ages or something, versus now if you don't let men walk around with dildos in their rear ends in front of 4-year-olds twerking, then you're an evil, homophobic, Nazi, bigot, Trump supporter. You get it, right? So it's like, that's a great example. We could take homosexuality, we could take slavery, we could take anything. What made slavery or being gay right or wrong? People's opinion of it. Maybe disease in some cases, maybe lack of childbirth in times when you really needed to have as many kids as you could. And now, like, I don't see, this is what I hate about people in general. I don't think I ever said this publicly. What I hate, and it's not just, the left or something stupid like that, it's like people in general are just sheep. And there are atheists that are sheep. There are Christians that are sheep. There are moral absolutists that are sheep. Maybe there are even some dumb nihilists that came to these conclusions like I did, not by reading, not by thinking critically, but because, some hot girl or boy they were banging was a nihilist. And yeah, man, Nietzsche's cool and has a cool mustache, bro. Fuck everybody. Sorry for the profanity. But that's a stupid reason to come to nihilism. Just like it's a stupid reason, my puppy got run over, to come to Christianity. No, it is though, right? It's like these dumb emotional argument or to hate.
No, I agree with you, but Rev,
yeah, or love them or whatever.
Do you know what? I think the bottom line is though that you talk about the solar Tarsus moment. You talk about even myself. I'm not joking. It's that experience that knocks you. You see, and God has a way of doing that. He you know what? He's laughing. He's laughing at you, Rev, because you know what? Tomorrow, if he chose like that. Just like that.
Now listen, let me ask you a question. Wait. One thing, maybe this will wake her up because I know she wants to stop soon, so we'll stop soon. But the thing is this: I don't want to take too much more of your time anyway. But I do appreciate this. But it's like, here's the thing: when you look at at the root of your faith is fear. That's the other problem. It is. You deny it.
No,
let him finish.
No, it is.
It's not.
No, you are wrong. But now that we've established that, keep going. I don't want
to keep going. I want both of you to tell me how I'm wrong right now.
It's based.
Well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you for why.
It's based on salvation.
Here's the right, exactly.
That was it.
But let me extrapolate on that.
Fear,
you see,
from the punishment.
No. Let me extrapolate on that. You see, our God, unlike their God, unlike Satan, has shown that he was able to sacrifice something. He sacrificed his only begotten son. His son, in addition, was quite willing to sacrifice his own life for us. For what? Why? For love. Their God, Satan, he hasn't sacrificed damn nothing.
Wrong. I'll tell you why.
That's what keeps me in the faith. The knowledge.
All right.
That a perfect being sacrificed for us because of love. So it's not fear.
It's not love, mate. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it's not love. It's a lot like communism that Uncle A claims to liberate man when in fact enslaves him with a bureaucratic hierarchy, and he was correct about that.
For me it's love. For me it's love.
I'll tell you why it's okay. For you it may be love, but I'll tell you why.
Right. This is why I love you, my brother. This is why I love you.
Thanks. I think highly of both of you as well. It's a shame that it's like $10,000 to round trip to Australia. We'll never meet. I'm sorry. I'd probably buy guns and chains. But anyway, listen. The reason it's not love. I bet you both would be fun to hang out with, honestly. The reason it's not the reason it's not love is because it may be wrapped in the ostensible package of love, but it's not love to basically foist this perennial, perpetual hellfire punishment upon you. Okay, Mark 9:40 through 44, right? Better you cut off your right hand lest it causes you to sin, lest you be cast mind, body, soul to the eternal flames where the fires are not quenched and the worm does not die. Paraphrasing. Okay, so the thing is that the reason I think God is an asshole, and that would include Jesus, sorry if that butt hurts people, is because you're trying to save me from a horrific punishment that, first of all, I didn't even ask to be a part of this. I wasn't given a choice. Do you want to be a cat? No way. I wasn't given when my parents had sex and had me. I didn't get to choose. Are they caterpillars and I'm a caterpillar, or can I be a dog or a polar bear or a person? No. So I didn't even ask for this scenario. You're forcing this on me. Secondly, the reason I deserve to burn eternally is because people I didn't even know, Adam and Eve, wanted knowledge, wanted to acquire. How horrible! Like real intellectual God. You put it right there. Oh, by the way, this is all going to happen, and yet you let it occur anyway. Real efficient. And you let sin exist, by the way, which that's never clear in the Bible, that like the wages of sin are death. Well, why? Well, either God created sin and Satan and allows it, or God's not the most omnipotent being ever. Because this demigod, which the Jews don't believe in, they believe God is everywhere, and they have their Psalm 105, 8 through 10? He remembers his covenant he made with Abraham and conferred unto Isaac for 1,000 years forever. So basically, if you're going to come and you're going to put this to my bloody head and you're going to say, get in the car with me and have oral sex, you're going to be Reviler, you're going to perform oral sex on me. Sorry to be crass, or I'm going to blow your bloody brains out. Look how loving and merciful I am. I'm giving you a choice. That's not a very good choice. So I don't like coercion on that level. You know what I'm saying? It's not logical. If you love something, you're not going to risk burning it forever. You wouldn't burn your own kids forever, Jimuphy. I'm not trying to talk about your kids, but I'm just saying, mate, that's why it's a fear-based paradigm. And even I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You guys were made in the image of fear. So, dude, I went to Catholic. All right, go ahead.
So I'm going to respond to the bit that you
all right,
mentioned.
Let me just sorry. One thing. I'm sorry.
Finish.
Maybe Jimuphy and I are related. I mean, we already look alike. We interrupt you all the time. No, I'm kidding. But
Adam and Eve, buddy.
No, the thing is that I went to Catholic school. I'm not trying to do an argument from authority. Hi, Pissy Leaks. I'm sorry. I can't see the comment right now, mate, but they'll get to it. He's a good guy. I really like him. He's one of the great Aussies.
We're not going to do questions.
All right. I don't blame you. Look, the thing is, I went to Catholic school for 9 years. Gloria in Chelsea Deo, all that. It's one reason I have demons tattooed on my arm. I did Infernum. I never finished Chalum. I understand. With all my heart and mind and what I would have said soul, believed in this stuff for years, for like half my life. I believed in this, but I'm telling you,
believed it here.
No. How do you know that? Were you there with my personal relationship with the Holy Spirit? No, you weren't. You didn't know who I was. You didn't know I was. You don't know that. You don't know it. Just like I don't know your exact relationship with what you perceive as God, but I don't know anything for sure too. That's the difference. You both claim to know. I'm humble enough, at least on that intellectual level, to say I may not know, but I've been there, and I'm telling you, it's fear-based. If we were a different race in a different part of the world, we would believe in a completely separate series of doctrines. It's fear-based. It's garbage. Okay. No, your point. What's your point?
Okay, so he'll actually respond, but I just wanted to respond to the bit about love. You think someone dying for all the shit that you've experienced in your life, all of the heavy moments, all of the angry moments, all of the evils you've committed, you think Jesus dying for you so that you have the capacity and the ability to go to heaven, the fact that he's already forgiven you, isn't love?
And he did it knowing that you would tell him to F off. He did it anyway.
Well, then he's stupid. He's stupid to want to force me into a contract like that.
Rev, you know what it is?
You can say that, but it's so stupid.
Rev,
I think you're the stupid ones. No offense. In this way. You're not stupid people, but go ahead.
Be quiet, Rev.
Right.
It's our turn.
Firstly, Rev, whenever I hear this argument, I hear limited mental capacity, limited intellectual capacity in this knowledge. Because for starters, what you guys all fail to understand is this. Our God created, or his aspiration was for beings to live for an eternity. Now, in that whole design, he had beings that decided that, you know what? Yeah, we want to live for eternity, but we've got a different idea. And you know what? Guess they made a lot of the arguments that you made. No.
They thought for themselves.
Yeah, we want to do things our way, whatever. Right, okay. So do you know what? God in his wisdom said, well, because here's the thing. What people don't seem to understand, it was that God was in judgment too. Everything that he set out to do, he was in judgment too. And so in his infinite wisdom, he's decided, okay, you know what? We're going to let this play out. You see, at the end of the day, we are going to have eternal beings. But you see, can you have an eternal being that has ego? Or that has
you
fear?
do. It's called God. Yes.
No, you can't.
It made you fearfully and wonderfully made, which that's a contradiction too, arguably.
No, what are you doing?
To fear God is to revere him. To fear God is to respect him, like when you fear your dad about to discipline you.
Well, my dad never threatened to burn me alive. By the way, Bill Hilly,
let's talk about the burning though. Let's talk about the burning.
Wait, Jimmy, wait.
Hold on. God is a just judge.
Rev, let's talk about the burning.
All right, wait, Jimmy. Before you do, Bill Hilly, I think his IQ is barely double digit. Like my beard. Oh, you don't like my beard, dude? Like these childish ad hominems. Whatever position you take, they don't help your case. I'm just saying. Like if
I don't like it either, Rev. Fair play.
No. He just sounds stupid. He doesn't understand. I don't think he could spell radiocarbon dating yet. Oh, that's bullshit. Because my Bible say anyway about burning. Yeah, would you threaten to burn your kids alive because you love them so much to equate this in human terms?
The beauty about that statement is I've heard priests, but this is where I think Christianity does itself an injustice because it doesn't know the facts either. You hear priests make some real lame ass excuse for it. Why not tell people the truth? That statement was directed to beings that were not human. I'll say it again.
Hell? Where do you find that?
Human.
What do you talk? Where can you justify that in verse? I'm sorry.
Well, here's the thing. When there are references, for example, to Genesis 6:4, okay, which talk about the Nephilim.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Then you've got Joshua's exploits, where basically he destroyed. I think it was about like 36 tribes in 44 years or something.
Oh, those tribes weren't human.
Right. Okay. They weren't human.
Oh, that I knew. Yeah.
You see, that's a mind boggle, isn't it?
That they were giants.
Wait. How does that? Okay, look. Even if they were giants or purple people or Smurfs,
they were an abomination. They were created.
brought that up. Like, how is that
Yeah,
relevant?
what does that relate to hell, man?
It's relevant because what you've done, you've quoted a statement about burning in hell,
Right.
as though it refers to human beings. It doesn't. It refers.
Oh, come on. Do you want me to get? Do I have the Bible here?
Can I just finish my statement?
No,
yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, because it referred to the heinous crime of basically mixing humanity with other things. That's what it referred to, and for what they're doing now, that's what that crime was.
So humans don't go to hell,
which is a justifiable crime. The burning it. Listen. Here's the thing. Humans who decide to side with that agenda, well, you have no place in eternity. So yeah, you're burning hell. You will.
So if you were born, well, okay, look, I'm going to sound like a leftist, but I don't care. I mean, most of my views are far right. Some of them are left wing, and I don't feel the need to propitiate one collective or the other. It's one reason the Nazis get pissed at me. But listen, so most of homosexuality nowadays arguably seems to be a lot of social pressure, trauma, stuff like that, media manipulation, thanks to the Zionists and other scumbags. But there are some cases of homosexuality where it does appear to be legitimately biological and even happens in dogs and bears and stuff like that. It's abnormal, all right? And it's not healthy, arguably, physically, but it happens. So if you were born a sodomite or whatever she was, a lesbian, so you deserve to burn for having, like, I guess internal utterances and desires that maybe you even tried to expurgate that you didn't even want, which is why this Christian conversion stuff, like Milo, the scumbag, who by the way broke his word to her, who's trying to grift people now out of, oh, I'm an ex-homosexual, darling, and then he sees Jimuphy like, oh, is he married? But the thing is, you better not show off those muscles too much. The thing is, yeah. But you see, like, it's like you're literally going to burn somebody for something that you endowed them to be. Like, you're the a-hole for creating that messed up thing.
Rev, again, you're making statements that are simply not true. Your statement that, these people will...
There's an element.
They will.
Wait a second. These people were actually born to be homosexual?
No.
Well, hardwired. I'm talking about...
No. People who become gay, I've spoken to them, and then they're de-gay. Something happened to them. They were either molested.
Not always. Many cases, yes, but not always.
Without me going into detail, you can already see it's problem. That statement you made is problematic because you know what?
Not with biology, always.
Well, no, it's problematic because I'm sorry. There was interference in the gene pool by some really devious people.
We're finishing in 10 minutes, guys. We're finishing in 10 minutes.
Or chemicals.
Wanted to cause this kind of confusion, but it was manipulated. They did listen. Trust me on that one, bro.
Wait. So the few turtles or something that end up queer, like their turtle uncle touched that. That's kind of a dumb argument, though, to say that there's no biological component.
Turning all the frogs gay.
No. Wait a second.
Yeah, right.
Wait a second.
Turn the frogs gay. ZionWars.com.
Rev, you're an intelligent person. That's a very simplistic thing. We both know. We're talking about something. True. We're talking about something laboratory. But right? This is happening in a laboratory. We're talking about vaccines.
No, dude,
I'm not. You know that. We're talking about vaccines
I know.
that were tampered with.
Not always.
We were talking about the Tuskegee experiment where, black women were injected with syphilis. Come on,
right. I know that, but I'm saying, like, are you saying that certain animals, like lower animals, not human beings, but because we're animals too, but I'm saying, are you saying that some of these lower animals that existed thousands of years ago before we had our medical science and whatever, some of them were homosexual, and it's like, they don't have morality. Like, it does sometimes happen biologically.
What happens in nature? Crocodiles eat birds. I don't see.
Right, but
that's
you're
that's a poor.
Very, very
that's
poor.
a poor.
No, I'm saying no, it's not because You're not understanding. If there's a precedent, even in lower animals, for that to happen, then it could apply to humans, and it sometimes does, absence of any Zionist media manipulation, whatever, to destroy the birth rates of all races, like some of our friends would say, which is a thing. But I'm saying, to say, like, there are some people who are just legitimately like, were they born like, holding a pride flag? No, but some males are just extremely feminine. Some females are very masculine, and sometimes.
Show me any one of those. Show me any one of them, and I'll show you somewhere down the gene pool where an evil dark scientist has basically manipulated the gene. But I'm sorry, but that's
wait.
true.
No. You're true. No. So wait. So you're saying that in a time where they did not even have penicillin, let's say like the Roman Empire, they didn't even have penicillin until around 1900-ish, actually, I believe. But you're saying, like today, actually, I watched 2 videos. I shared one of them to Telegram about ancient Rome real quick. Here's how this is relevant. One was about what it was like to be a Roman slave and buying your freedom, which was interesting. That I shared. And then the other one, it was actually about emperors that were homosexual or bisexual, and I knew about like Caligula and Nero. Those were like the most degenerate, as you could say, but I didn't know Hadrian actually had a male lover. So I mean, could Hadrian have been touched by his uncle or something? Maybe. But given your, no offense, your weak argument, there was no gene pool to really manipulate back then, mate.
But actually, it's your argument this week because it's in absence of a very important historical fact. There were Nephilim beings who basically, they influenced mankind to perform certain sexual acts that were foreign to mankind. That's true.
Yeah. Then why aren't gay?
Rev, you didn't know that?
Why aren't wait? You say a historical fact, but if I asked, and I'm not just
stupid. I mean, I hate people make these kind of statements.
You're telling you just
in absence of the facts.
You just told me that it's a fact that these hybrid giant people existed. Yet the problem, that guy may have had some weird bones and elongated bones, but like it doesn't seem like that's been definitively proven to be like some different species where they've taken the mitochondrial DNA and this is a giant. So you're claiming facts to things that are really largely rooted in your religious beliefs. So they're not facts. They're just strange bones.
It is anti-God.
But this is all coming from a belief, though. All of your arguments are coming from a subjective belief.
Look, it's not coming from
a belief. It is, mate.
No, it's not. No. Look, unfortunately,
very subjective one.
For me to be able to extrapolate that goes beyond the time and the bounds.
I understand. All right. So wait. The last thing, if we could hit on for just the last, is until we hit 2 hours, just a few minutes away.
4 minutes.
I mean, try telling that to L.A. Marzulli. Oh, it's just a belief, really? Oh, well,
no, but he has researched it. There are peer-reviewed papers.
There are peer-reviewed papers. That's the point I'm trying to make. There are peer-reviewed papers
on
Nephilim. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
there are peer-reviewed
papers.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Well, it's possible, but I would need to see all the evidence. But the thing, and see, here's the last thing I'll touch on, and I didn't even have to get to Nietzsche's steps of nihilism, losing faith in value, losing faith in oneself, and then not trusting the physical world nor the metaphysical world. But don't worry about that. But anyway, related to that, like epistemologically, I don't believe that we can know anything 100%. I don't believe that because I don't think. All right, well, what do you think, Tia? Do you think you can definitely know God or morality or whatever? Or do you think
God, yes. With what you're saying, it's a respectable position that you've arrived at for the belief system you have, which is nihilism, which is that everything is relative and subjective. You've arrived at a very respectable intellectual position by saying what you've said, but and I know it sounds like well, you're in your category, we're in our category, we're allowed to say we know. But you know something? We actually do, though.
If I was going to have a final comment on this, on this, look, I have disagreements with atheists as well as Christians.
Yeah.
And my final comment on this is, look, at the end of the day, the truth will come out. Either way, the truth will come out. We will know the truth. They say when Christ turns
Maybe
up,
we
we'll
will.
know the truth. We will. We'll know
Or
the truth.
maybe, but okay. So I guess I'll like, how would you both? And I've asked her this before, and shit. Like, I'll just publicly for the record, and thank you for my. Hopefully, it's not my last appearance ever, but I don't know. Even if it is, I think I've hit it out of the park on this one. I know you guys definitely have. So what, like, imagine, just try to imagine being a nihilist. Just try to imagine that you wake up one day for whatever reason, or you read a million books, or you just clunk your head on the wall, and you suddenly discover or know or whatever that, wow, there doesn't seem to be any absolute. This all seems to be purposeless, like a kind of like a dog's life or a rat's life. How do you think you all would get on? Would you be depressed about it? Would you just, what do you think?
I'd be depressed about it. I already know
Well,
that.
do you know something, Rev? The last 12 months, you can't help. I don't think anybody can honestly, Christian I'm talking about, can honestly say they didn't have certain doubts. But for me, I always came back to this notion, or shall I say, this understanding that, wait a second, you know what? The enemy, the other guy who's doing all this nonsense, he believes this. He's going to the nth degree. So I need to snap out of it and start to defend my corner.
Right.
You see, and I suppose really that's what, and the fact that, my goodness me, the other guy is into child molestation, ritualistic child abuse.
Yeah.
This woman has done shows
On child sex abuse.
on child sex abuse. I mean, my goodness me, Oh, and by the way, they seem to be, connected with ritualistic, satanic, whatever else.
Sure.
Look,
Epstein, Rothschilds, all that. Yeah.
Exactly. And so for me, it's almost by a process of elimination. They're supporting this, that, and the other in opposition to God. So my goodness me, I know what side I need to be on.
All right. Now, what if you just one day stopped somehow, found yourself unable to care about that anymore? You think you just go like feed ducks at a pond, or would you just keep living life until you die?
I'll be dead. I'll be dead. The moment that happens, I'll be dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess if I was a Christian still, my life would be a lot different, and how I would think about and operate in probably every way. But man, I don't care.
Because here's the thing: the point I'm trying to make was that there was nothing stopping me from continuing on as you are, if it wasn't for a series of events that just knocked me for.
Well, no offense. I don't think, look, you're not a dumb guy and she's not a dumb girl, but I don't think, see, this is the last thing, if I could say real quick, and thank you both for doing this again, especially Dia. But okay, the last point. Well, this is not something, like I said, that I came to because, I was depressed or I was angry at somebody. Nihilism doesn't prescribe anything other than a rejection.
You've thought about it a lot, haven't you? You thought about it.
Oh, I did.
And that's the difference between me and you. You see, what I'm trying to say is, given all the thought and intellect that I had, there's no reason why I wouldn't have carried on like you.
Maybe, maybe.
What happened was a series of events that stopped me from thinking, that knocked all my logic out of the park, and I had to basically redefine everything in my life.
Okay.
And you know what? Everybody else basically has the similar experiences.
They may.
Particularly to them.
I had the antithesis of that experience, like kind of going the other way. Like I used to think that whether it was God or even if I was an atheist, morality and moral humanism back when I was like a leftist libertarian person, or whatever. That's and it's like Nietzsche was like reading my mind, man. I lost. So look, I'll close it with this, and then let's let Dia have the last word because it's her show. So what I want to say is that, look, just because cosmically nothing may ultimately amount to anything, or maybe it does, or maybe we're both wrong. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll find out when we're dead. But you can still enjoy things. You can still hate things. You can still hate people and enjoy some other people. So nihilism doesn't prescribe anything else. You could be a commie, you could be a Nazi, you could be anything in between. That's your subjective as a subjective moral agent your values. It just means in the scope of the universe, knowledge can't totally trust it because we're limited to 5 senses. Ethics can't really trust it because the guy running around nude, throwing spears, having sex with his daughter, he has a different moral compass than me. I would not want to have sex with my daughter, you know? And what was the other one? Epistemology, ethics, I'm almost done. Existentialism, life, meaning of life, different to everybody, I suppose. No real objective purpose. So anyway, I would ask Dia to the last thing of it. So where do you all the talk about race and this and that stuff? And I think it's fun and interesting to talk about this stuff, even though it scares the establishment. But I think this is the scariest thing of all, because when nothing means anything, oh, wow, did the freaking people fall from the rafters? So what's your deal? What do you want to do? What do you want to see? And what's your take on all of like this craziness I've put you through?
I want us all to hold hands and sing Kumbaya.
Why Kumbaya? So it's because you don't know.
Even with toothless prune face, the rapist. I'm kidding. I'm not going to bring that up. Sorry.
Don't say that word on this channel. My God.
What? Prune face?
R.A.P.
Oh, that was like calling God and Muhammad asshole. So
That's right.
Oh, I'm sorry. The rap. Yeah. The therapist. Therapist.
Yeah,
That's what I meant. All right.
I mean, my answer is very typically Christian and conventional. I want everyone, my enemies included, people who hate me, people who think I'm a moron, people who think he's a moron, people who hate you. I want them all to find salvation and come to Christ. I want to see them all in heaven. I don't want anyone to burn in hell. But that's where I'm going to see you, bro. I'll see you burning in hell from heaven.
It's made up. We'll probably both be dead and rotting, maybe be ghosts somewhere and fade out eventually. Who knows? Well, whatever. If that happens, you know, they can only have so many people in the fires. I'm sure I'll take over and become an archdemon of some.
You got to come to Australia before then, though, bro. You got to do it.
I'd like to, or something, man. Like I said, one day. I mean, I just got back to work and stuff, so
Make sure you get vaccinated and you have your vaccination passport.
Oh, jeez.
Stupid people. That's one thing we all agree on. And also, absolutely. I think the final thing we can all agree on is that, you know, as good and helpful and fun and informative, or as incensing as the internet can be, real life takes precedence. So it's good to do this every so often, but it's good that we're all doing better in real life, even after this pandemic. And she's made a lot of progress, and I have, and you've always been making progress, Jimuphy. So all I would postulate is that people like Jimuphy, you know, they can be of a good asset to a society. I, with my personal subjective views, just think, keep it limited, you know? But that's all I'll say. So thank you for doing this. I hope this closes out race, epistemology, religion. We did it all. There's nothing left to talk about. What are we going to talk about? Reality TV? I don't know what else to talk about.
All right, next time we'll talk about the Kardashians. Awesome.
Listen, guys, great. You know, thanks for keeping us company. And Rev, we'll speak again soon, brother.
Yes, we will. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye.
Yes, thank you.
We're out, everyone. Thanks so much. End broadcast.